Fresh, delicious, tasty, meaty.
Let's make it a meal with a drink, chips, and cookies. There is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you. From cookware to stereos, from power tools to plumbing supplies. Yeah, we got the best goods with the best price and a service to make you smile. At Kirk's Home Center, we got a great deal in store for you. Business Buzz. Business Buzz with your host, Anita Khan.
Good morning and welcome to the Business Buzz. If the voice doesn't sound like Miss Anita Khan's, I apologize to you, but my name is Orett Connor and I'm filling in for Miss Anita Khan on the Business Buzz. In this segment of the Business Buzz, we will be talking about the Cayman Young Writers competition. So if you have a dream of being a writer, or if you want to hone your writing techniques, well, it's time to dust off those keyboards and compose the next big story. If you're 10 to 17 years of age, well, what we encourage you to do is to stay tuned as we will be sharing information about a young writers competition that you can become involved in, how to submit your writings, and if you're chosen as a winner, you could win some great prizes as well. So it is my pleasure to have in the studio or with me this morning Miss Karen Chin, the publisher of CLM. And for those of you who are curious about what the acronym CLM stand for, they are Christ-like Media. Also in the studio with us, Mr. Mike Pillen, who's the Friends of the Library. He's a representative of the Friends of the Library. We have the 2022 winners, Miss Molly Robeson, in the studio with us as well. She was the second place winner, 14 to 17 year age group. And also in the studio with us, Mr. Trevon Turner. So folks, good morning, and I'm not going to say welcome to For the Record. Welcome to the Business Buzz. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, so Ms. Turner, sorry, Ms. Chin, I'm sorry, my apologies. I'm going to turn the mic over to you for you to do some introductions, and then over to Mr. Pilling.
I thought it would have been age before beauty here or something, but apparently not. So, good morning, and thank you for having us here For the Record. Yes, I did it. I was just watching to see your reaction. But I'm thankful for the Business Buzz this morning and missing Miss Anita, Paul as well, and so forth. The Young Writers Competition we started 3 years ago, and it's something we thought would be wonderful to get the young people showcased in writing, their writing skills. That's one, and to also encourage them to be later on, who knows, a big author of the Cayman Islands. So if they start from now, they may continue in this vein to be a published author later on, which they are published authors actually, because the winners or the finalists get to the shortlist group, get their story in for the age group that they're in. If they're shortlisted up to half point, we take the first 10 shortlist, the top prize, the top scorer in the 14 to 17 age group and the top scorer in the 10 to 13 age group, and it becomes a published author. So you're looking at around 20 to 22 opportunities for your work to get published. And I'll let Mike talk more about it because he will be more in-depth to tell you about the competition.
Certainly. Mr. Pilling.
Well, I
I think the idea was that people in school, when they're considering career opportunities, shouldn't ignore the fact that there are other things than banking and law and other perhaps more conventional career paths. So we felt that it was a good discipline, in a sense, for young people at various levels to go through the process of not just composing a piece of work, but in a certain context. There are certain rules and regulations around how they're to be structured. And then seeing their work eventually in printed form with a picture and everything else. So that really was the motivation.
Okay, so we want to hear from some of the winners now. Let's start with you, Miss Molly Robeson. And if you want to give a big shout out to your friends at school, this is an opportunity, or family, this is an opportunity for you to do so as well.
So my name's Molly Robson. I'm a grade 11 student at Cayman International School, and I've been competing in the competition since 2021. And I'm originally Canadian, but I've lived in the Cayman Islands for more than 4 years now.
Okay. And what prompted you to get involved in the competition?
Well, it was during COVID that I first heard about it, and during quarantine, and I needed something to do, and I've always been really interested in reading and writing. I've been reading since I was really small, and I think my mom was the one that found the competition, and she suggested that I submit a story for it, and I did, and in 2021 I was shortlisted, and in 2022 I won second place.
Okay, Mr. Trevon, let's hear from you. Introduce yourself to our listening and viewing audience. Bring that mic a little closer to you as well. You can move. Just pull it.
My name is Trevon Turner. I am currently in year 9 at John Gray High School. I first heard about the competition last year, and my mom told me about it, and I was just bored, so I decided to try something new, and I ended up in 3rd place.
Oh, excellent. Congratulations to you. Now, both of you, did you all do this on your own? Did you get any advice from your counselors at school, from your teachers in terms of, or this was all your initiative?
For me, this has always been just something that I like to do and something that I do on my own.
Okay.
None of my school knew I was going to enter, so I just decided to do it because why not? I didn't try to tell anyone about it.
Now, what are some of your favorite subjects in school? Is literature, writing, one of those favorites that would have given you that sort of attracted you more towards this competition as well? In any way, did it influence you?
No, not really. I don't really like English, but I'm good at it.
Okay. Yeah. And you, Molly?
Well, I'm in my first year in the IB diploma program, so writing is a big part of what I do to get good grades, and so I figure that because I like all of the classes that I'm taking, writing is really an integral part of that.
Okay. And Mr. Pilling, you mentioned before that the importance of people realizing that there are other opportunities other than banking and law in the Cayman Islands. But being a lawyer, most people believe, for instance, that if you want to become a lawyer, you should take political science courses. But I'm told that in many instances, history is very important, but comprehension, being able to comprehend, but also being able to write properly, as well. Any comments on that, sir?
Well, no, I think in any profession or any job, really, to be able to express yourself clearly and succinctly in writing is a very valuable skill. And there is a big emphasis, of course, in this competition that this is original work. So we try and stress that.
Ms. Chin, anything you want to add?
Well, as Mike said, writing, it involves in almost every subject, career, any way you want to think of, you have to do or express yourself clearly, and I would say communication. And one of the things that I noticed that in the competition, these kids, children writing, takes you in hills, valleys, forests, just about everywhere you can think of. They will take you into avenues that you're wondering, oh my gosh, what are they reading? What are they talking about? But it's interesting to realize that once given the opportunity, which is what the Cayman Young Writing Competition is all about, they will express. And it's also, we give them the guidelines to go with. So it's also helping them to learn to follow rules, guidelines, or regulations, because we are very strict with make sure or do this or so on. Submit in your age group this amount of words, submit in your age group this piece, and so forth. Follow the font, follow this kind of guidelines. So it helps them, in a sense, to stick with learning rules and sticking with it. The other part of it, what I like, is that we don't give them a topic to write about.
Okay.
And they are free to write about just about anything. And this is where I think it opens a can of worm. We just don't want to have a book with 24 topics, the same topic, and different angles, because of course 3 or 4 or 5 of them going to sound the same way. But if they write about something that they want to write about, then you get a variety of stories to enjoy.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about, since we were on that topic, the importance of a language, and how can we get more young people interested in being creative writers.
Well, I think in any of these things, it's something that you need to do, not just once. So, when I was growing up, I used to have to write letters home. Every week I had to do it. I mean, you had to hand it in. So that, and then I've written letters all my life. Not so much now. And things change because obviously with technology, the actual written word, actually writing out exams and so on, it's very different. Yes. But I think those skills, you need to use them all the time to enhance them.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we're going to talk a little bit more, and we do understand that both Molly and Trevon, they have to leave us at about 8:45 because Trevon has exams today as well. But when we return from the commercial break, I want to talk a little bit, since we're talking about language, and I'd like to hear from the two youngsters here. In the Cayman Islands, like other Caribbean countries, we do not necessarily have patois here, but we have our own dialect. Now, there's a huge debate going on in terms of whether or not children, students, should write the way that they talk, and whether or not that is acceptable, and how far does that get them in the academic world. And I'd like to explore that a little bit, because it's a huge debate, and there are many proponents in other jurisdictions who feel that write the way you talk, because others amongst you can understand that as well. Or can we do both at the same time? Folks, please stay tuned. The Business Buzz will be back shortly.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
And for 45 years, we have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center,
specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
Water Authority Cayman wishes to advise its customers and the motoring public of wastewater infrastructure upgrade works along West Bay Road, adjacent to Burger King and Kamana Way. Preliminary activities will take place on Tuesday, 7th March, with the main works beginning on Monday, 13th March. These works are anticipated to last for several weeks. During this time, access to the southbound lane along West Bay Road will be somewhat, but not entirely, restricted. Water Authority Cayman and its contractor will maintain two-way traffic throughout. Traffic signs will be in place in the general vicinity of the works. All motorists are asked to drive with caution to ensure their own safety as well as the safety of the Water Authority and its contractor's staff. The Water Authority appreciates the patience and understanding of its customers and the public as it upgrades its wastewater infrastructure and apologizes for any inconvenience caused.
The Cayman Brac Agriculture Show is back, 17 years strong, Saturday, March 18th from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. at the agriculture grounds of Songbird Drive on the Bluff. Tons of fun for the entire family. Animals, antiques, art, and craft displays. Raffle tickets are $10 and include entry. Travel from Grand Cayman is a breeze, with extra same-day flights on Cayman Airways. Check them out on Facebook at Cayman Brac Agriculture Show. Don't miss the 17th annual Cayman Brac Agriculture Show, Saturday, March 18th.
Business Boss. Anita Khan.
Good morning and welcome back to the Business Buzz. My name is Orett Connor and I'm filling in for Miss Anita Khan. We're talking about the Cayman Young Writers Competition. That conversation is taking place with Miss Karen Shin, who's the publisher of CLM, also with us, representative of the Friends of the Library, Mr. Mike Pilling. We have in the studio also Miss Molly Robeson, who's a second place winner in the 14 to 17 age group, and Mr. Trevon Turner. And you, what place did you? Third place was it? And your age group?
Was it like 10 to 13?
10 to 13 as well. Okay. So before we went to the break, we were talking about language. And we do have, our dialect here in the Cayman Islands and our way of saying things. We don't necessarily refer to it as patois, but in other Caribbean countries, including Jamaica, it is there. And there's a huge debate now as to whether or not that language should be recognized and should be encouraged. So, Mr. Pilling, you have an opinion on this and a little story to share with us as well in terms of what you're reading now. So go right ahead.
Yes, well, I'm only thinking back to England and how Oxford English was supposedly the acceptable form of English, and BBC announcers back in the 1930s or whatever were hired because they could speak what was then perceived as proper English.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So regional accents in England, of which there are dozens and dozens, were suppressed in a sense. That has gradually changed over the years since, but not really that much. So I think it's an interesting idea to extend that to Cayman, because Cayman has a unique accent, if you like, dialect. Now, I think it takes a lot of skill to translate that meaningfully into the written word, and I think anyone taking on that job is it's going to be a challenge. It really will be a challenge, and it's be a challenge to judge and assess. But I'm on the outside, so I say go for it.
Okay, Ms. Chin.
Well, part of the criteria or scoring for the judges is creativity, and your vocabulary and style, phrasing and continuity is also part of it. So if this is your style to write, because they always look for, when you're writing, you want to find the author's voice, and if the author's voice is being dampened or muffled by the person trying to write pure English and still don't create it in the creativity point, then that may be a taboo for that person, as well as if the person writing the dialect of the country, then we'll also need to figure out how the judging is going to work on that, because it is not easy to read. Well, thank you, Mr. O.C., for not filing my book in '89 when I got here. That is an inside joke. So, yeah. So the idea is when you are in a competition and the rules are set out, and though I'm from Jamaica 30 odd years ago, I sometimes, depending on the crowd I'm in, I will go back to the patois. But I don't speak it clearly. I speak broken English. There's a difference. But it's what it is. I can't read patois in a full paragraph. I will go, okay, and then I got lost. So it's hard to figure whether or not you can take straight Cayman dialect in, or straight patois in, or straight Jamaican talk in, because you will get lost if you're judging a competition and you're trying to follow the story. So to make it easier on the judges and the writer, you want to keep it as clearly and as cleanly as possible. As we don't judge on grammar fully. We would love for you to send it properly, because it's going to be edited at the final run anyway. So we're not saying that you need to send us something with a lot of broken English. We're just saying that just make it as cleanly as possibly you can, so that when it gets to the judging section, they're not stumbling or need to get the Oxford Dictionary out to figure what word or what terms you're using this word in. So that part is important. Now, for a mother or someone who's sitting in the car and waiting for information, let me just pop in there that Cayman Young Writers, just send an email to caymanyoungwriters@gmail.com. Cayman Young Writers, that should be it. caymanyoungwriters@gmail.com. So if you're wanting information on the competition, just in case you have to get out of the car soon. So caymanyoungwriters@gmail.com to get the application to enter the competition. And I'll jump ahead and say that the competition actually starts April 1st. That's when you can start sending your story, and the deadline is May 31st. So just in case someone is listening for that pertinent information.
Excellent. And we know that the two youngsters, we're going to ask you to stay on until 9 o'clock, but we know that the two youngsters have to leave us
soon, so they can pipe in now.
So two things I'd like to hear from you. What encouragement would you give to those persons who are listening, as well as your colleagues, in terms of getting involved in this competition? And I'd also like to hear from you, how do you feel about the ability to write the same way that you may talk to your friends, you know, when you're out in the playground, or when you go to the movies, or whatever, and the way that you write, the standard English that you are sometimes required to write? How do you feel about those two things?
Well, I mean, I'm an outsider, obviously. I can't say that I have a whole lot to say about this, but I do think it's important to have your writing reflect who you are. And so if that means writing how you speak, then you should find a place to do that.
Okay. And any encouragement to those persons, who may be interested in entering the competition, and words of encouragement?
Yeah.
Or advice?
When you enter, there's no consequence. Like, if you don't win, nothing's going to happen to you. You know, there's no list of losers. And just if you've been reading your whole life, reading books that you like, then you should be able to write something that you like too.
Okay. Trevon?
I have no particular say on whenever you should include your certain type of dialect in your writing, because I was born and raised in Jamaica for about 9 years, then I moved here.
Okay.
But I've always wrote similar to how I talk, so it doesn't really affect me in any other way. And for encouragement, just try your best. It's just like a fun competition to enter. It's not something to be that particularly serious, just to have fun. So I just say try your best.
But despite the fact that you get to be published here as well. Yeah. Okay, so again, Molly and Trevon, when you're interacting on social media, do you use type out all the words, or do you use those acronyms and those phrases that are socially acceptable? And how does that, let's say, compare to your writing style?
I guess I would use like text acronyms and stuff if I was texting with someone. But I mean, when I'm writing in this context or in a school context, I would probably use, you know, the grammar and stuff that I've learned at school over the years.
Is it difficult to transition from one to the other?
I wouldn't say so.
Okay. Trevon?
I don't really use acronyms. I just like type out the full word.
Good practice. Good practice.
I love that.
Practice makes perfect.
I love that.
You know, as well. Well, because both of you have to go before. When we take our next commercial break, I want to give both of you an opportunity for some closing comments. Trevon, you know, about the competition, your feelings about entering it, and if you had to do it all over again, would you?
If the competition is fun, and I would do it again. I am actually entering this year for the 14 to 17, and I am almost done with my story already. I just need to finalize it.
Excellent, excellent. And we won't ask you to give anything away at this point in time. Molly.
Yeah, it's a really great opportunity. It's a really great contest, and I'm also entering. This will be my last year entering, as I'm 17 now. And I already have a story pretty much ready to go for April 1st, so you've still got time to write it, and after April 1st, there's still time too. So.
Excellent, excellent. Paul, we're going to take that commercial break now to give the youngsters an opportunity to get underway. When we return, we will hear from Mr. Pilling and Ms. Chin. We'll talk more about the event itself, some of the requirements, some of the rules as well. So, folks, don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. The Business Buzz will be back immediately after this short commercial break.
Whether it's routine care or highly complex surgery, when it comes to your health, you want the best. Health City has Cayman's most comprehensive range of in-house medical services. Recognized for quality and excellence, Health City brings together expert doctors, the best technology, and the latest techniques to understand your health and ensure you get the care you need. From Camana Bay to East End, you can trust the team at Health City. Health City, world-class healthcare within your reach.
Cayman Turtle Conservation and Education Center invites you to join them on Sunday 19th March for their 3rd annual Turtle Crawl 5K Walk and Run. All funds raised from the event will support the conservation of green sea turtles in the Cayman Islands. So come on out and show your support. The 3rd annual Turtle Crawl 5K Walk and Run, Sunday 19th March. Learn more and register now at www.turtlecrawl.ky. Proudly sponsored by CUC, Cayman National, Walkers, Rotary Central, Advanced Fire Services, Gatorade, and Radio Cayman.
Business Buzz. Business Buzz with your host, Anita Khan.
Good morning and welcome back to the Business Buzz. My name is Orett Connor and I'm filling in for Miss Anita Khan. This morning we're talking about Cayman Young Writers Competition. That conversation has taken place with Miss Karen Chin, who's the publisher of CLM. Also in the studio with us, Mr. Mike Pilling, who's the representative of the Friends of the Library. Earlier we had Miss Molly Robeson in the studio with us as well, and Mr. Trevon Turner, Trevon Turner with us. They, of course, both of them are still in school, and Trevon has exams today, so he had to be off. But I was extremely impressed, by their composure and the knowledge that they had as well. So that is great. If they are indicative, of the level that you're getting in the writers competition, I can see why both of you are so enthused and encouraged, about this as well. The mic is yours, folks.
Well, I think we've been pleased with the way the thing has evolved over the last couple of years. But it'd be wrong of me not to say that this is almost entirely due to the enthusiasm of Karen, who does all the heavy lifting and almost all of the hard work in this.
Okay.
Because she really controls all aspects of the process, and in some ways the most complex or difficult one is overseeing the judging of the stories, the criteria, and so she has her lists of people that she gets involved, and it's not an easy process to administer, but it's been done, I think, very comprehensively and fairly, and I think the results speak to it.
Okay, well, let's hear from the proverbial horse's mouth. Let's get it from there.
The proverbial controller. I'm okay with doing these things. I love to write and see what's going on with writers, authors, and so forth. So it's a natural part of my flow, my day, to get competitions going and all these other stuff that's going on are involved with getting these competitions going. I've always been doing something, either gospel fest or gospel best or so forth, and other stuff that require competition. Though my personality is to always be in the background and to keep quiet, I like to do these things because it's amazing when you put something forth like this to get the response. You're feeling alive, that you're part of something greater than you. So that is why I help to do this thing and to get the competitions and the judges going. Some of them are crying, oh, we have to mark 40 papers or, so we're always in need of judges, and there's no particular criteria.
Okay.
But you must not be the child's parent or the...
Can't have any conflict.
Right, and you must not be the teacher of that student, in the competition. However, the first place winner, the mom was also one of the judges for the younger generation. So that was, to put that out there, the first place winner is the 14 to 17, but she helped to judge because being a professor at the UCCI, she helps to judge the 10 to 13 or to mark the papers for the 10 to 13. So we're looking for teachers and, persons who can assist because we're looking that we might have more than enough entrance, and for someone to sit down over 70 papers to create a listing, follow the points and so forth. We're hoping that some teachers will come on board to help us to grade these papers to be fair, and also don't have to be a teacher, just be available and to love to read, because you have to read these stories to really give it fair marks. So the first criteria, the person must love to read. And once they love to read, the rest will follow.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be a teacher or a judge or a politician. Just be a person who loves to read.
Or even a writer as well, even though you may sort of like be a little bit more biased if you're a writer, because you may want to impose your standards and your styles.
True.
And
True.
but
hence the reason I stay away from the judging part of it. I'm also part of the competition chair. So if I'm on the chair, I can't judge. But I love to write, and then I might want to impose myself on, as you said, oh, what's that? Really? This story could have gone. Oh, no. I try not to get involved like that. Even as a publisher, when someone comes through the door to publish their book, I know I'm taking a deep breath here, because a lot of people like to say I love to ghostwrite. I don't love to ghostwrite, but I like to show you a different way to get, your story a little bit more enhanced, or enhance your story a little bit differently. And it has been okay so far.
Now, you've spoken about the winners. Do you have a list of, the winners in the age categories for the last competition?
All right, going from Headspace. Headspace, we have Abrian Cooper. She won the first place in the 14 to 17, and Molly, who was just here, she won second place, and Daniel Cooper won third place. So a brother and sister took first and third place in the 14 to 17. In the younger 10 to 17, you have Janelle Smith, Molly Desarom, and you had Travain just now. So we have, those are the 6 winners from in my headspace. So you have Molly Desaram, and Janelle Smith and Travain in the 10 to 13 age group.
Now, is the style of writing judged as well, or is it the content? What is more important?
All right, so creativity, 30 points, vocabulary and style, phrasing and continuity, 25 points, grammar, punctuation and spelling, 15 points, logical interpretation of the title. So if your title is Jack and the Beanstalk, you definitely need to put somewhere inside here, Jack really found the beanstalk or found the bean that's so you have to have that the interpretation of the title so that the judges can follow the story in. You know, make sure that if it's Alice is in Wonderland, we definitely seen that. So I'm giving light stories because this is a children competition. So I'm speaking to them. I am not going where Mike is at to Jason Bourne and Robert Ludlum. But Robert Ludlum is one of my favorite authors, so I can speak on that. Adherence to contest rules, 5 points. So once you follow those rules and the guidelines, it's all assisted by your creativity, then you're definitely in the winning for getting there.
Now we know that they all get published, and I'm going to
not all.
The winner,
the finalists. We have sometimes the last one we had 40 something in the 10 to 13 age group, and so that was a huge influx of because we just added that last year to the competition. It was always just 13 to 17. 14 to 17.
I think it was 14
yes.
to 17, but
right.
a lot of people said would like to enter but were too young.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
So we added the 10 to 13, and from First Baptist School alone, we had over 20 students. Wow. So the teachers at the different schools, we had writers from John Gray, Cayman Academy, Clifton Hunter, John A. Cumber, Red Bay, all of the schools, and home schools as well. And we had a lot of private schools, including Cayman Prep, St. Ignatius, and Cayman International Schools. So we do have quite a wide range of students. Last year, competition we had from Cayman Brac, we didn't see anyone this time around in the competition, but we're hoping that they will come on board. And it's 22 get into the book. So your story must be up there with one of the top scorers to be in the book.
And are there other prizes that are awarded as well?
Yes. We have cash prizes for the first, second, and third prize winners. We are trying not to give out the amount because we want to make sure that you're writing for the competition, not for the cash.
Yes,
you know. So your heart will, if you stay with writing for the competition, your heart will be in the writing, not just because you want to be in a winning, and you might lose concentration and take the story in a different direction. So, and we have tablets, gift certificates, and chances are there are more coming on board.
Excellent. Mr. Pilling, can you tell us a little bit about the Friends of the Library and your involvement, and not only in this, but as the Friends of the Library, what do you do?
Well, the Friends organization originally grew up when we were fundraising for the new library extension all those years ago. We once that was done, we continued to support the library service, really, in any way that was outside the regular sort of government budget, things that wouldn't otherwise be available. We try to get for the library service. The main thing I suppose we've done over the last few years is in enhancing the old library building itself. So we had a fairly big initiative there, and that space has been improved, I think, and is used very regularly for performances, recitals of all kinds. The Cayman Arts Festival, for instance, do at least a monthly recital there. Right. And in fact, in the last festival, just last month, One of the best concerts we've ever had, I think, was Swanky in the old library. Was really something. It was very good. So those are the sorts of things that we do. But there are other organisations that support this competition. The library service itself in making available the facilities of the library to us. And the Cayman Literary Society are also on board in terms of support. I think some of the judges come through that organisation, and also they've provided some of the prizes, I think, as well. So it's a collective effort.
And Island Photos give us those wonderful photos while we can present such a wonderful such a wonderful book with the kids, children pictures all over it.
Okay, so we have about 2-3 minutes left. Let's remind people, all of our listeners and our viewers, about the competition itself again.
This year competition officially opens April 1st and closes at May 31st. You can send an email to caymanyoungwriters@gmail.com. That's caymanyoungwriters@gmail.com for the competition rules, the entry submission forms, and any other question you have on the competition. And once it's closed at 31st, 11:59 p.m. on the 31st of May, we won't be accepting anything after that. You can send as early as you want after April 1st, but no later than May 31st, 11:59 p.m. Also, that during the June, July, it goes to the judges to process and so forth. We get it back by August to present, help out with the book, make sure that the book is getting the proper treatments, then to have the final ceremony somewhere in September. Of presenting the main winners, September to hopefully no further than that.
Yeah, and we want to give as much recognition to our young writers, to not only the winners but all of the participants as well.
Absolutely.
So you do get an opportunity to do that.
Yes, we are grateful for everyone that attempt the competition, because it takes. Say, for instance, myself, I started my first book under a pseudonym because you never know if you're going to be accepted. So for these children to bravely write what they want to write on paper and submit it to a competition, kudos, big cheer, everything towards them, because releasing what's inside on paper for someone else to judge, it takes a huge heart. So I want to congratulate the children on that first and foremost, and to congratulate the teachers and parents and guardians that are encouraging them to enter the competition. So it takes a little bit of time into their studies time, like now is the beginning of some exams and so on. So like Travan and Molly, you probably want to just write the first part of it now, the first draft. Just knock it out of the ballroom. Once you're getting it there, actually, in the next few weeks, you can tweak and change and tweak so that by then you arrive at your competition timeline to enter the competition. So that would be the encouragement to start writing now, and then you can submit after April 1st.
Okay, I want to thank both of you for being here, folks. This has been the Business Buzz. In this segment, we have been discussing the Cayman Young Writers Competition. That discussion has taken place with Miss Karen Chin, who's the publisher and the head of CLM Publishing, Mr. Mike Pilling, who is a representative of the Friends of the Library. We also had in the studio with us Miss Molly Robeson, who's a second place winner in the age 14 to 17 age category, and Mr. Travan Turner, who was third place in his category as well. I want to thank you all for listening in to the Business Buzz. Please stay tuned. Up next, we will have our news headlines and the remaining of the programming right here on Radio Cayman, so please stay tuned.
The Business Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Medical Supplies. Call them at 949-6211. And Cayman Insurance Center, celebrating 45 years in the Cayman Islands, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. And 345 Equipment, quality machinery, parts, and repair services for all of your construction equipment needs. Call 525-0021 or email info@345equipment.com.